Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
I'm Ryan Vickers.
Hi, I'm Ben Curry.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Ray from the Kawasaki Racing Team, and you're listening to Motorsport Radio.
Hello and welcome. This is Motorsport Radio. The Superbike Show is back. My name's Lester. Joining us on tonight's programme, we've got Luke Newman once again. Hello, Luke.
Hello, Lester.
How are you?
I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm here. Looking forward to a big weekend in BSB, which is at Silverstone. Well, tomorrow, really. There's the Honda British Talent Cup closed to the public test. However, we'll find a way of reporting on it. And then on Friday, the action begins with live trackside action on BSB Radio and hopefully Motorsport Radio as well. And we'll tell you all about where, when, and how you can watch it for as cheaply as possible, which is, I know, a big concern for a lot of people. Joining us as well on the show tonight, it is Jay King, the Fab Racing Pit Bike 140 current champion of the world.
Not current champion anymore. I'm like past it now, Lester.
But you did, okay, well, whatever. A champion in our hearts.
Previous.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, Mr. Pit Bike Sonic, who's now got a monetization on his YouTube channel, so he'll be giving up his day job and watching the pennies roll in. So check it out, YouTube, Pit Bike Sonic, for all of your pit bike
needs.
If you have any, that is.
Yes.
No? Okay. I'm kidding. Keep up the good work. Anyway, and also making his, not his Motorsport Radio debut, but his Superbike Show debut, all the way from Scotland. Let's hope his internet is good up there. It's Lewis Rae. Hello, Lewis.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. It's sunny in Scotland for once, so I can't really complain.
Well, yeah. I was actually in Scotland at Knockhill at the weekend. Just, I don't know, trying to relate. I don't know.
Was it nice weather?
No. No, it snowed. So, yeah.
It snowed?
Yeah, Knockhill. That's like an average day.
I've been in Knockhill a few times. It's never snowed while I've been there.
Well, I was sober, so I felt the weather a bit more. So, but yeah, I had a square sausage while I was there.
They do it in Mcphee there, don't they?
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Did you sleep in the yellow van?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. That's slander. I never do that. Ever. Anyway, we will talk about lots of different things. We'll talk a bit about MotoGP, World Superbikes, and we'll talk a little bit about as much as possible in the next couple of hours. We are live currently, unless we're not and you've downloaded us, but the original show was live, so check that out next week if you can. And to prove we're live, send us a comment in the comments box below. Keep it clean. And Jay will answer all your pit bike Sonic queries regarding...
I'm sure the questions are flooding in.
Yeah, like, why is BNB...
we're not slagging off championships here.
Oh, well, I don't know. You answered the thing on your YouTube channel. Check it out, though, kids.
I just said why I do one than the other. I never slagged them off.
Get Jay King's reaction to various things. That's what people do now. They react to things anyway. We'll be reacting to all the latest news, which has emerged in BSB and MotoGP, and Luke has more details.
Well, BSB fans, it's finally race week. The paddock will be at Silverstone this weekend for the start of an incredible season for British motorcycle racing. There is a sad update from BSB. Taron McKenzie will not race at the opening round after undergoing an operation to plate his fractured left ankle. His World Superbike Championship debut has also been postponed. McKenzie said, "The operation on my ankle went well, and I'm now focusing on my recovery, working with my physio and aiming to be back as soon as we can get our season on track." Sam Cox will also not be racing in BSB this weekend, which is a shame for Sam. Over in MotoGP, Enea Bastianini has won his second Grand Prix of the season over in America. Tony Arbolino took his maiden Moto2 race win. And Jaume Masia won his first Grand Prix of the season after a poor start to the year. In World Superbikes, Jonathan Rea won the opening race of the 2022 season, but it was Bautista who took the double in Aragon as he won the Superpole race and race 2 and now leads the championship. Danilo Petrucci is a MotoGP race winner, Dakar stage winner, and now a Moto America Superbike race winner after doing the double at the Circuit of the Americas at the season opener.
Well, that was pretty short and sweet there, Luke.
It was.
I was definitely expecting the end of that. Very, very good. Yeah, you should, I don't know, like a channel like what BBC Three news bulletins that they used to whiz through. Except more interesting because they're about bikes. But yeah, pretty sad start to the season for the reigning champ, Taron McKenzie. Was I think we just gone on air when the announcement was made last week that he was in hospital suffering from a suspected broken ankle, which was later confirmed. And yeah, he's unfortunately out of at least the first round. Do we see him returning for Alton Park though?
I reckon we will. It was. I think it would, but it was a bit hit and miss if he would have made this round. It was probably way too short notice in the end. But
unfortunate.
Yeah, I think we will see him for round 2 at Alton. And like I said before, with how the showdown works, it's not like a massive like disappointment that he's not be there. Obviously, he would have wanted to be there for the first round, but if he's fully fit for Alton Park in the second round, if he gets 3 top 3s, there's a good chance he'll probably be back in the top 6 again. He's in the showdown spots. So with the way it works, it's not a great loss. If it's a normal championship with normal points and that, then obviously missing a whole round means a lot.
I forgot you don't like the showdown, do you?
Oh, I haven't got nothing against the showdown.
If it was a normal championship, the way normal championships work, then he'd be all right. But
no, I don't mind the showdown. I can see why riders don't like it, because obviously we saw Jason last year. You ride brilliantly all year, and then it gets down to the last 3, and all your hard work has kind of come to nothing. But it's very good for us supporters. I can imagine if I was a rider in that situation, I probably wouldn't like it myself. But yeah,
hey,
for the sports, it's brilliant.
You just gave us an idea that we can do in I don't know. We'll get Roger at Fab to.
I've asked Roger and Rob if they would do showdown for some.
Let's do a super showdown. Yeah.
They said no, because it would be more complication on the championship.
More like all the riders, you guys would just whinge and moan about it and give them headaches.
Yeah.
No, it's not fair. I'm not coming anymore.
I'm going to B&B.
Something like that. But yeah, anyway, it's a good format. It's staying. It works. What do you say, Lewis? Not necessarily about the showdown, but about Taron.
Well, I think it's it's not a complete blow to his championship just with the way the showdown works, as Jake mentioned there. But I think he will be back for Alton Park, but it's a question if the injury is going to hinder him at all while riding the bike. And then it's going to be a question of how long it's going to be until he's at 100% fitness again and be able to get the results that we know he's capable of.
Decent point, yeah. I suppose.
And Alton Park is a very physical track, so that is probably the worst track to come back to if you're not 100% either.
Yeah, but I mean, how much do you really need your foot, to be honest?
Because you're a superbike connoisseur, you are, Lester.
I'm just asking a question. I mean, Lewis, you're a young up-and-coming racer and commentator and professional media person now. So I suppose you can provide us with an insight, especially in racing in Scotland in Scottish weather. How hard is it to actually race with a broken foot, broken ankle? Impossible?
Well, personally, I've never broken my ankle yet, but I would you do use your foot quite a lot while racing a bike, more than you would probably think looking from the outside in. But there's definitely ways around it. It's one of those injuries that it's not like a broken collarbone or whatever where it's going to make it impossible to ride. There's ways around it that he's going to be able to work around and adapt his riding style to suit this injury so he can hopefully get results and get up to speed quickly.
Well, although someone actually did ride with a broken collarbone at Silverstone a couple of years ago. Was it Christian Iden?
Yeah, Christian Iden. That was that. Yeah, I remember seeing the X-rays before the race, and I was like, "How the hell are you doing this?" I think it was the last meeting before the showdown. He had to get points to get in the showdown, and he didn't do it anyway. But I do remember that. I think he was on the BMW at the time.
Something. I just remember him having a thing on a big crash on the quali on Saturday or something, and he was like, "Well, obviously, this is on Eurosport. Obviously, he's out then." And then there was some talk about him maybe having an assessment and then coming back and riding with a broken collarbone. Yeah, like wow, okay, fair enough.
Jack Kennedy's done it before as well. I think he broke his wrist in a lot of places, and he landed up having cushions around the tank or something to try and keep himself comfortable. I've seen that as well. So, yeah, they can work things around it.
What's your worst injury, Jay, that you've ridden with?
I've Red Lodge a couple of years ago. I carried on riding for the weekend with a broken arm. But,
I actually remember that. Was that 2017?
Something like that, yeah. I basically put a gear in. It was when we used to use the square track at Red Lodge, and I put a gear in on the bike because the only problem was I couldn't pull the clutch in and out. So what I did is I put a gear in on my bike so I could just keep it in fourth gear all the way around. So I didn't have to use the clutch. It was just really painful doing the stuff.
Yeah,
and it worked. I got 3 results.
Fair enough. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would, Lewis. I mean, I'm guessing what you're 16 or are you 17?
16.
Wow, I'm still young. So, What would be the biggest injury that you've had while riding so far?
I've been lucky enough not to break anything, at least yet. It's just sore. Well, I've hurt my hip. I've been spending most of the winter getting that ready now for the up and coming season. And I had some issue with my wrist after high siding. I landed on it and I was struggling. Well, I was racing 2 weeks later after it and I was struggling to hold on to the bike. But luckily enough, I've had no breaks just yet anyway.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever ends up happening with Taz McKenzie, we wish him the very best, and he hopefully will be back in time for round 2 at Alton in 3 weeks? 2 weeks. When is it? I don't even... Yeah, when? Oh, obviously, none of us know the calendar.
No, not at all. But if it's 2 weeks, they'd be fully fit by then.
Yeah, obviously. And a sad note as well that Luke mentioned. Sam Cox announced, I think, over the weekend or on Friday, that he will no longer be racing in BSB, at least for Silverstone. I can't remember off the top of my head the exact wording of his social media post, but...
I saw it. I didn't see Sam Cox's post, but I saw the team's post, and they were having problems with the bike. I believe it was electrical problems with the bike that they just cannot solve. So I think they're changing manufacturers. Okay. So that's what I heard. So I think it's called. Is it NP Racing? That team is called. I know they're one of the lower teams in BSB, but I can't remember the name of the team. But yeah, I think they're changing manufacturers. I think they can't get the BMW to work. So I think that was the reason why.
Okay. Fair enough. I only read the first headline of it, the first paragraph, sorry.
So I don't think it's personally Sam Cox's problem, and I don't think he's splitting from the team. I just think the team are going to change manufacturers at the last minute.
Well, let's hope that they get something together for round 2 in BSB. Yep. And it'll be amazing to see Sam Cox in BSB. If you've not been following his progress... then we posted an interview that he did with, I think, I forgot the name of the YouTube channel, something testicular cancer, and we basically shared it on Motorsport Radio, motorsport.radio, the website, in case you are wondering about that. It goes into a lot of in-depth stuff. So interesting watch, I would say. So check that out. Other big BSB news, has there been much this week, Luke?
I don't think so from what I've seen. I mean,
it's mostly just been
keeping an eye out.
Yeah, press releases about like so-and-so's ready
about round one and
stuff.
I don't think there's been any more liveries, have there? I think they're all done now, I believe.
They're Chrissy Rouse's levels.
Yeah, Chrissy Rouse's came out, didn't he? And all his background boards and things like that came out. So that looked quite smart, to be fair. I like his levers.
Look great.
His levers look good. How he's got all the, because obviously he's a maths teacher. It's got all sums and fractions and the levers. So that looks really good. Yeah.
Oh, I was just looking at the colours. I mean, I don't, examine people's leathers too closely. But Lewis, what do you reckon of? Have you seen the Chrissy Rouse leathers thing? It's like what is it? It's like blue and orange or something.
Yeah, blue and orange again, similar to the Superstock livery. Yeah, it's nice. It's probably what we would associate Chrissy Rouse with over the past couple of seasons now. So it's nice to get used to.
Cheers, Jay.
There you go.
Thank you. Great reporting. Sorry. I mean, I don't know. What do they look good in your opinion, Lewis?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better liveries, and not as plain and boring and kind of PR looking liveries that we've seen. It's more fun, I guess you could say.
Exciting maths teacher Chrissy Rouse and his standout leathers. Yeah.
He nearly has a podcast as good as ours, I've heard.
His podcast is pretty good. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's been on the show to talk about it. It's from his studio, but his internet let him down, I think. So, there you go. Hello, by the way, to Simon Barry, tuned in, live, listening. Hello, Simon. He says, who's your money on for the 22 BSB title? Now, we were going to get into, Simon, we were going to ask everybody about the showdown predictions, but I suppose since you've already asked the question...
Can I get a pen and paper?
Well, there can only be one winner, Jay.
I thought we were going to choose our showdown 6.
Well,
or is it 8?
I think we should do that as well.
It's 8.
It's 8.
Yeah, 8, yeah. I'll give you till the end of the show to do that, to come up with something.
We can't just choose a winner, can you? It's too difficult.
You literally can.
Yeah, it's just one of 31 names.
Yeah.
Possibly 30-something.
31 at the moment.
At least 15 of them have won a BSB race, so it's not making it difficult, is it?
Yeah, but who's going to win this year?
The most.
Let's put Luke on the spot.
Or my
I think you've already told us in a previous show, but I've completely forgot.
What, my champion?
Yeah.
I reckon Taz is going to do it again.
Right.
Even with his injury, I think I can't put it past Mackenzie.
Interesting. Okay, Jay.
I like to have like an outsider and a banker.
Here we go. Go on.
I'm going to stick with what I said. I think outsider, but is he an outsider with how well he's been going and testing is Bradley Rae, and then I think the safe bet is Tom Sykes. I think how quick he came back on the Ducati, and the Ducati is normally one of the obviously better bikes. They've always done well. So yeah, Tom Sykes.
Interesting. Lewis.
Well, I think for a start, you could almost have a reason for half the grid on why they could win the championship this season. There's a lot of talent.
But in your educated opinion, who's your personal fave on who, if you were to put money on it?
I would probably say O'Halloran for me, just because of his pace last year, and he never really crumbled until the showdown, which this season he's already got experience of what it's like to be leading in the showdown and your gap getting put down to, I think, 30 points, is it? And yeah, I think that he can handle the pressure this year after already having experience of it.
Interesting. Okay. Personally, I'm more inclined to go along with actually what Jay mentioned and say maybe Brad Rae, only because I've been saying Brad Rae like intermittently for about 5 years now, and well, it's going to happen.
His time has to come.
Eventually, one day. Yeah, he may be on a good bike with a good team this year.
Well, it's a good bike. We haven't really... I'm not saying anything bad about the OMG team, but I think they've won one race, haven't they? And that was a bit of a lucky win, wasn't it? With Josh Elliott. Yeah, so...
Yeah, Silverstone.
Yeah, when two of them took each other out, O'Halloran and Mackenzie. So, but could happen. But we know how good the Yamaha was last season. So
I'll have a word with him. All right, yeah, cheers. OMG phoned. He said, "You what?"
Hey, it might be their year.
I mean, it could be anybody's year, really, couldn't it?
Yeah. I really want to see Christian Hidden do well as well, because I like Christian, and he's a proper down-to-earth person. It'd really be good to see him win the championship. But I think it's going to be really hard on that old Suzuki. However much they say it's still a good bike, it's going to be tough.
Luke's in full agreement with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course I am.
Yeah. Because if you don't know, Luke supports Christian Hidden. There you go.
I'm a fan of Christian, yeah.
Nobody's mentioned Storm Stacey.
Yeah, I think it's a big year for Storm, because obviously he's been in the championship a few years now. He's done well up to this point. Obviously, he's not in the big team. So, but yeah, I'd like to see Storm do well. Obviously, he's extremely young for a superbike rider. So, but I think this is his third season in it now. So,
he's turning 18. 19 soon.
Turning 19 in a couple of days.
So that is still young for a superbike rider when you think of it. But I think him personally would be aiming to get regular top sixes, things like that. But it's such a hard grid, such a hard grid. And even top 10 this season is going to be a really good result for anyone, really.
Well,
I think it's going to be very like MotoGP, where we could see one weekend we could see Brad winning, we could see Tom Sykes win, we could see Haslam winning, and the next week you might see him struggling to get into the points. I think it's going to be that hard this year.
Could it be like that, Luke?
It could be. Going back to Storm Stacey, if he can get into the top 15 in the championship, it could be quite good, because he got 19th last year, and obviously, like we said, there are so many on this grid that could do well. So if he can just make that little step again, it'll be good for him.
Yeah.
I think for Storm, the thing for him is he needs to make other teams look at him. So next season he can make that step up to maybe a bigger team. Maybe, just that really, just so people can look at him.
All right, so let's put you as a team owner then, Jay, pick a team of maybe where you could probably see. I mean, I wouldn't rule him out of something in a Yamaha or something, and maybe go all right.
Yeah, definitely. It's how should we put it? Storm is a very likable person off the track as well. He's great for sponsors and things like that, because he stands out a lot with the way he dresses and things like that. He's very good on social media. So, and you've got to have that these days, because there's so many good riders out there. You've got to be just as good off the track as you are on the track. So, and Storm's very good at that. So if he can get good results, teams, why not? Teams like Paul Bird's, the Feiho Racing Team, Cinetic Team, FS3 Team, they all could be looking at Storm if he has a good season on the track.
Or he could even stay where he is, because...
I'm not saying what is it, Euro Car Parts? I don't know the name of the team exactly, but they...
Brent Gladwin's team, yeah.
Yeah, they could have... they can always improve. So, like I said, the rules are very matched in BSB, so it's not saying they're a bad team. It's just obviously there's the ones with slightly more experience of being up the front.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, we'll literally have to see this weekend, Silverstone. Lewis, your thoughts if you've had many or any, about what will happen and why?
This weekend, I definitely think we're going to see Peter Hickman up front again. Peter Hickman's always pretty much went well at Silverstone. And I think it's going to give him the confidence, really, just to go to the road races that's starting pretty soon, the Northwest 200, just come out straight away with confidence. Bradley Rae is looking great in pre-season testing, so I'm really excited to see how he gets on the ONG Racing Yamaha. And finally, the Paul Bird team as a whole, the Tom Sykes is really exciting to have him back in BSB and back in British Championship paddock. And it's great that he's returned. It just shows the class of the paddock and how great the racing is there for a world Superbike champion to want to return. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the team works at Silverstone and as a whole, really, throughout the season, how him and Josh Brooks are going to be able to work together. Because they're both great riders with, well, as motorcycle racers usually have pretty big egos.
Interesting. Never noticed that before, by the way. I don't know. Didn't know that motorcycle racers have big egos.
It'd be interesting to see if Josh Brooks and Tom Sykes get on, because I think they're two very different people.
Yeah.
So I think they're at some point I don't think
they're both very professional. So even if they don't get on,
think of it, have we ever seen anyone get on with Josh Brooks?
I was going to say, Josh doesn't really get along with his teammates.
No, he didn't get on with Scott. He didn't get on with Christian, and I think Tom Sykes and Josh Brooks, I just can't see them getting them on. I'll give it a couple of rounds before there's probably a few not heated words, but maybe some not getting on.
Tension in the garage.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, are they meant to get on, really? You mean, you're not there to be friends with the guy?
Definitely not. But,
I mean, you're there, first of all, to beat him.
As long as they don't take each other out, that's like, the main sort of thing.
Well, I mean, things are going to happen, aren't they? So
it's going to be very close. Another person we should need to look out at Silverstone, who's won races there before, is Kyle Ryde. He was very quick there in testing as well, so it'd be worth watching out for Kyle. I think he'd be up the sharp end as well.
We talked about this last week, testing versus reality, because teams might have just been testing a new part or testing old parts or some I doubt they'll be testing old parts maybe, but we don't know exactly what. It doesn't always translate from testing into the first round, because especially Silverstone, when it is the first round, can, as we saw a couple of years ago, throw up some not normal results, let's say. Partly due to the fact that everybody's still finding their feet in terms of where everybody is and the sort of package and the bike, the rider package that they've got, and seeing how well all that works best together. So there's opportunities for someone to make the most of it, and it might be Paul Bird's team. Who knows? Who knows, indeed. Staying with BSB for the time being, we will talk a little bit about MotoGP and the race at the weekend, and also World Superbikes and some of the races there as well, and talking about how some of the Brits got on as well. But I also wanted to talk maybe a bit about some of the other classes in BSB as well. Particularly, let's start off with the Quattro Group British Supersport with British GP2 Championship. Yeah. Just been on the website, and these are some of the faces and names. A lot
of fab people.
A lot of fab people. That was one of the first things that I noticed, actually. Yeah. Too many to mention. Oh, maybe we should play a quiz. Sometimes when I play this quiz with Roger Keys of Fab, even he doesn't quite remember all of the fab people. Go on, I'll ask you then, Jay, since you are Mr. Social Media of Fab Racing.
We're going through now. Josh Day isn't a fab person, but obviously he's the father of Harrison Day, who currently races at Fab Racing.
Although Josh has done a couple of races as an adult.
Did he? Oh, sorry, I do not remember. I must have been away for that. Obviously, we know Harvey because he's won 3 Fab Championships. He's won 50, 70, and he beat me by a point in the pit box. But we won't talk about that. We've got Jodie Fieldhouse. She raced in Fab
a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, it was quite a few years ago. Jake Archer, he's had top 3 championships in Fab. Zach Cordroy also, he's had top 3.
Zach.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Max Wadsworth, he was one of the original Fab people.
Who?
Like he would be about the same age as me. So.
Oh right, wow, okay.
I think he was like Fab 2004, something like that. Jeez. So that was a long, long time ago. And Bradley Peary, he was Fab as well. I think that is it.
Explains a lot.
Yes.
What about Jack Scott? Was he one?
Jack Scott, I don't remember. He might have been. I did spend a few years away from Fab when I did a little bit of big bike racing, so he might have been there when I was there, but I can't remember him, sadly.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, these are we're just basically looking through some of the faces so far that are registered in the British Supersport Championship. Luke, how much do you follow Supersport?
Follow it enough to know that Jack Kennedy is probably going to be the champion.
I think we've already both agreed that I would actually put a cheeky $5 on him to win every race this season.
Well, that's ludicrous.
Really?
I don't think it's.
I tell you what, if you're going to lose money, why don't you give me the $5 and I'll look after it for you.
Last year he was on, I'm not going to say, but he was on a slow bike and he still won the championship. And this year he's now on a good bike. And yeah, I think the way it could be.
Well, you're
presuming
presuming
in a championship anything can happen. You can get taken out. You can have stupid crashes.
You could get promoted.
Yeah. So yeah, something like that. So yeah, I mean, if a BSB team came calling, even if Jack was leading the Supersport Championship, if a good BSB team came calling, I think he would take it straight away because what's he got to prove in British Supersport? Everyone knows he's top dog. So yeah, I think he's very unlucky that he hasn't been given a good opportunity in BSB. So
what, Luke? Why would that be?
I know Jack Kennedy, every time he has gone up, it's not worked out for him, but I don't know, he does deserve one. When you watch him race, even on the Kawasaki last year, he was the man to beat, but hopefully he will get a call up to BSB on a decent package.
Okay. Lewis, your thoughts on the Supersport as a whole and Jack Kennedy in particular. Do you agree with what Jay thinks? Is he going to walk away with everything? What's going to happen?
Well, I definitely think he's going to win the majority of races, but the likes of Bradley Peary, which as we know is probably on the best bike on the grid, on that McAdams Yamaha, I see him winning 2 or 3 races this year.
Definitely.
But one thing that we haven't mentioned just yet is the new Supersport class as a whole, really. And obviously, not this season in British Superbikes, but it's coming pretty soon. And the likes of Jack Kennedy, who will be still on, if he doesn't move up to BSB, he'll still be in the Supersport class on a 600. You really got to question how long he's going to want to spend in this championship before. Because if he spends another year on the 600 again, next year the 600s could be absolutely nowhere, and the likes of the Ducatis and the Triumph with the Moto2 engine could just blast past them, and he may never get that call up for British Superbikes. I do think Jack Kennedy's time is running out to find a seat to move up the class.
Do you think maybe from a rider's point of view, as you are a rider, would it be better to be seen to be sort of sitting and waiting for a BSB opportunity, or is he right to just jump on a bike and just race anything? Not saying that is what he's doing, but some people do that.
Yeah, question. I don't think he should just jump on any bike. He should definitely be waiting for a good package, as Luke mentioned, in British Superbikes, because that's what he really needs. Because we've seen him do short stints in British Superbikes, and it's not really been anything magical for a ride that's so fast in the Supersport class.
Okay. Basically, just expanding from what I don't actually think Jay's correct on that, but Jack Kennedy will probably
I don't want him to win every race of the season. Obviously, I'm a fan of Bradley Peary as well, and I also like Lee Johnson as well. So I want to see them guys do well, but maybe I'm being a bit optimistic saying he'll win every race, but
just because he might have probably done that in the past, or looks like he might have done that in the past, or wanted to. That generally has not much of a reflection on how the future's going to go, because things don't always work out the way that, as you know, Jay, that you want them to. I actually think probably an outside chance for a win might be Harvey Claridge, at least one win maybe this year, maybe.
Be nice. He's got a step up. Obviously, I think it's his second year on the GP2, so he'll be looking to make definitely getting podiums in the GP2 class this season, and maybe getting somewhere near the front in the overall standings.
Irwin as well, Keelan Irwin, Corey McGreevy. Zach Cordwell. I'm going to say Zach as well.
Yeah,
Jake Archer.
Zach Cordroy won. I think he won like the last 4 races of the stock 600s last year. So he's on the Gearlink Kawasaki, and the Kawasaki's have been struggling in this class for the last few years now. So be interesting to see, because obviously they have that bit of a mix between the old 600 and running the 636 frame and all that jazz. So it's a bit weird with what those guys do in that team. So it'd be interesting to see what they do this year.
Okay. Interesting. Anybody else, just want to quickly touch on some other categories as well. Anybody else have any burning opinions on Supersport?
I mean, Ewan McGlinchey could do okay with Gearlink Kawasaki. That is another one to watch from the Kawasaki point.
Okay. Why is that?
I'm just watching him last year as well. Finished 6th, I think, in the championship.
He's very quick in the wet.
Yeah. But I think he's one to watch.
All right, Lewis.
I definitely think Rhys Irwin's going to be one to watch this year. He's shown some great potential last year.
Yeah.
On the Yamaha, and I think this season could be his year if everything goes the right way.
Yeah, decent lad. We've had him on the show. We've had, lots of these guys on. When Tristan was on the show, I guess he was competing with a lot of these people. But also, onto the Superstock category now, as Superstock sponsored by Moto Novo. New logo, I think, from them this year. I think. Interesting one. Again, first thing that springs to mind for me, probably as well, Jamie, is who are the Fab riders? Who do I know from Fab? Well, there's TJ Toms for a start.
TJ Toms was, I'll just keep going through. I don't think Lewis Rollo might have done a few mini moto meetings. I'm not sure.
I think he did, yeah.
Sean Winfield, he was my day, Metra Kits, so remember him. Keep going down. Joe Francis won the 50 and the 70 championship.
Was Joe Talbot?
He might have been. Tom Ward has come and done a few meetings on moto teams and pit bikes before.
Yeah, wasn't he meant to be at Lid the other week?
Yeah, he was meant to come to Lid, but obviously it was just Brad on his own at the end. So.
Yeah, where was Tom Ward? I was disappointed to not see him.
Yeah, he's a good lad, is Tom. So. Who else have we got?
Yeah, Joe Francis, like you say.
He's won both championships of
Braden, I don't remember. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
David Sellers, I think he's either dad or stepdad to one of the...
to Harrison McKay, I think he's...
Yeah, he races in Moto3 now.
In the Honda British Talent Cup.
Yeah. And then obviously we've got Charlie Nesbit, who was only with us last weekend and has won many races at Fab. So
was he definitely there?
Yeah, he did. He just did the Sunday on the pit bikes. He did beat me in one, sadly, from the back of the grid. But yeah, obviously Charlie comes to most Fab meetings and has a muck about on the pit bikes. So
yeah, because I mean he's usually sort of up front with most people. I mean up at the front of the grid. But
he wasn't there Saturday, was he? So he had to start at the back of the grid because he didn't qualify, and the pit bike grid was a bit full at Lid.
Well, yeah. I mean, as Lewis would know, because he was commentating on it as well, along with Ross McIntyre. All races of which you can go and check them out on the motorsport.radio website.
I've been sharing them everywhere for you, Lester.
Well, good. Thank you. Yeah. Incidentally, Lewis, how was your first weekend as a commentator?
It was definitely different to be on the other side of things for the racing, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a different type of buzz I got from commentating, especially in the pit bike races, which was definitely the highlight of the weekend, and the mini GP 70s and 50s. All classes were good, of course, but just the hard racing that goes on in them fast mini bikes is just, yeah, it's incredible. But it was a good weekend. I learned a lot. You and Ross helped me a lot throughout the weekend, and yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
and I think his first time, because he's from Scotland, is young Lewis. I think it was the first time and maybe a long time that he was allowed out of Scotland and dragged down to the south coast. So he was feeling a bit, I don't know, out of his. I don't know what the.
Group chats, you've both been getting in our pit bike group chats. You've been getting very good comments, so everyone thinks you did a brilliant job. So there we go.
Yeah,
especially in the last pit bike race with Reese Peacock's move around the outside of two riders on the last corner. He absolutely loved it. So yeah, he thanks you a lot for making it sound very exciting.
Well, it was exciting. But again, to know exactly what we're talking about, check it out on either the Fab Racing official YouTube channel or just motorsport.radio, if you like. But yeah, full live coverage through the season of the Road to MotoGP Ladder Series, Fab Racing. And we'll be talking more about another Road to MotoGP Championship, the Honda British Talent Cup, shortly. Continuing quickly, because we're going on a bit. We've
Stock 1000.
Yeah, the June, it's not Stock 1000 anymore, you get slapped for saying that. The Junior Superstock Championship, I think it is, that it used to be the 600s. Is that right? Junior Superstock. I still get confused, to be honest.
Before we move totally away, I just want to say I think Charlie's going to win the Stock 1000 Championship this season. I think he's been very, very good in testing. First time on 1,000, and he's been within like the top 5 pretty much in every session. So it's very hard, the Stock 1000 Championship, but I think Charlie's going to do well this season.
Yes, I purposefully didn't ask everybody's opinion on that. Not only because I didn't want to see how much people didn't know about particular riders. But
I know that there's probably Charlie, the other Neve twin who hasn't gone to BSB. I think
the Neve twin.
Him. I can't remember. I always forget which one's which. The one who was on the Suzuki last year. Anyway, I think he'll do well this season as well. But it's going to be tight. Stock 1000 always is tight. So yeah, and obviously Joe Francis as well, coming down from Superbikes. He's going to be near the front as well.
Fair enough. Well, since you've started off thing about it, anyone else have any predictions about the old Stock 1000 or the?
Tom Ward as well, because he's on the Aprilia and that's super quick as well.
Okay.
Forgot about Tom.
Well, there can only be one winner, really.
And Lewis Rollo.
All right. Thank you, Jay. Luke, who's it going to be in the National Superstock Championship, the old Stock 1000?
I've been looking at Alex Olsen for the Superstock.
All right.
As bad as BSB this is.
Yeah, okay.
I think, yeah. BMW, yeah.
All right, sorry, I was expecting you to do a J and go on and list a load of names.
I was too busy looking at J, looking traumatised that you forgot.
I can't remember them all.
That's what I mean. Lewis, I'm hesitant to put you on the spot just because, I'm not expecting you to know all of the, who's on the grid and everything. But if you do know anyone or any names stand out to you...
He's going to say Lewis Rollo, isn't he?
Not necessarily.
Yeah. Well, without that sound too patriotic, I'm going to go Lewis Rollo. He's been up front almost all testing. As straight away as soon as he jumped on that Pageant's Honda, straight away was on the pace. He's had good results on that Aprilia the past couple of years, which isn't a bad bike, but it's not the best bike on the grid either. I think this could be his year. If not, maybe next year.
Okay. Interesting. All right. With that, we will slide into the junior... we'll move on and talk about the junior Superstock category.
Am I doing a fab call again?
Yeah, that's literally the first thing I think of when looking at, going through the BSB website.
I think Cameron Hall's done a few, but I can't see any so far.
I'm sure I vaguely remember Jones.
James Alderson, he's done fab.
I'm sure. Is it Ocean Jones? Ocean Jones? Whatever his name is.
He might have.
Years ago. Cameron Hall.
He's done a few pit bike rounds before.
Yeah, sure he did.
Long time ago.
Chloe Jones.
She might have done the odd one, but she didn't. She definitely didn't do metric kit. She might have done a few mini moto meetings.
I might be, yeah. Anyway,
Lewis. I'm not sure if that's the same Lewis Jones. I think he did 300s last year. He might have moved up. That might be the same Lewis Jones.
Could be.
Obviously, Max. And here's my favourite for the championship.
Oh yeah, Max did a thing just like half an hour ago. Social media post. New livery for Max, and I was trying to look for it and see if I could stick it on, but I can't. But yeah, there was an announcement of a new livery and him looking prepared for the season and all that sort of stuff.
I think he's been top every session so far in testing. So,
well, that'll be good. It'd be good actually to see James Cook, and I don't know what he's doing this year.
I think he's still in the British Talent Cup.
Not sure. So.
He was very unlucky last year. Very unlucky.
I made a point to actually go and find James Cook, but I don't know. Maybe I can ask Max at the weekend. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Rossi Banham. We were battling with him at Pit Bikes last weekend, so he's a fab man. Or Rossi. Cam Dixon isn't a fab man, but he does come in my motorcycle shop quite a lot because he's local to me. So he's been going well in testing as well. Franco Bourne, he came from fab. So did Ash. I believe Asher Durham did a few rounds as well.
I believe so. What about Ed Best?
I don't know. He might have done a few. I'm not 100% sure.
Am I just making things up here?
You might be, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. Jake Hopper, I think he did a few.
Oh, definitely, yes.
He definitely did.
Because I remember at least 2016. What about Owen Jenner? I don't think he did. Did he?
No, I don't think he did. I'd remember that hair.
I don't, anyway. You can't say anything about hair. Jiminy cricket.
Oh, it looks really normal at the moment. It needs a cut, though.
Yeah, anyways, normal, as though it's not like blue hair. I can't really say anything about hair either. Standout names. Luke in the junior Supersport. I might be pushing your knowledge a bit too far with this one, potentially, but if you followed or loosely followed the championship last year, this is the old stock 600. Junior Superstock as it is now. Any standout names there for you?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't follow it at all last season, so I don't even know what's going on in the class at the moment.
Fantastic, right? Lewis.
I think.
Oh yeah, go on, Jay.
Go on. Let Lewis go. He needs to have it.
I'll probably have 2 or 3 names in my head that stand out for this season. Not for the championship, this one, but certainly a name to look out for is Zach Shelton, obviously coming up from the junior Supersport class. As we know from watching that, he's a very fast rider, and I think this season we're going to see him develop and he can hopefully score some points, and next season could potentially be up there. Owen Jenner, I definitely think is one to watch for the championship this season. Towards the end of the last season, he had some great results, obviously winning the 2020 Junior Supersport Championship. So he's a fast rider, and Asher Durham finally is another one. So personally, for me, I think it's between Owen Jenner and Asher.
Interesting. I'd add also to that, I mean, yes, I'd agree with you, those names. Also, Seth Crump as well. Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what his best result was last year, but I vaguely remember hearing him or hearing his name being shouted out, bellowed from the PA system by the legendary Fred Clark at various rounds. But I'd also add to that list of potential champions, Rossi Banham, or Ross, as he's called here on the website.
It's tough going into the 600s in your first year, but his times have been pretty good for jumping on 600 for the first time. So,
and he's pretty handy on a pit bike, I hear. He
definitely shows me the way round. So,
well, until he got tangled with a back marker, a big crash. Check it out. You won't believe it. See our reactions to it on the social medias.
I was close enough behind him as well. I got it on the GoPro, so it'll be in the vlog.
Ah, right. Well, I mean, yeah, if only someone else was there filming it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out.
By angle will be better, Lester.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Who is at fault? Have your say. Get in touch now. How outraged are you? Damn bloody Conservatives. Anyway, so yeah, Jay, did you pick out a winner from the junior Superstock?
I'm going to
just pick one. Just one.
I'm clearly going Max. I know he topped every session in testing.
Even though he fired you last year.
Yeah, well, we're still mates.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Jay was assisting with, or whatever your title was, assistant.
That's the problem. The title wasn't what I thought it was.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, you should have. Yeah, never mind. But what team's he with this? I can't read that.
He's with what Zach Cordroy was with. So the team that won, I think they won the last 4 races of last season.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot. Ugg & Co. They're a clothing brand, I think. They do have a stand at BSB meetings. They do sell some nice clothing, to be fair.
Fashion? Yeah. Know all about it, mate.
I'm still waiting for my Motorsport t-shirt, Lester.
It's in the van. I used it as a mop. Anyway, sorry. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah, bikes. Right. Okay. So I think, did we mostly all choose somewhat? I think we just threw a load of names around there. I think we totally copped out of that.
I don't think any of us match, so one of us should be right for that one.
Yeah, we've named enough people, so I mean, one of them's got to be right, like you say. Right, on to the even harder to predict. Sorry,
300s.
The Hell Juniors, British Junior Supersport.
No, it was a different Lewis. There's 2 Lewis Jones. Look, that's the Lewis Jones that used to do Fab.
That's the Lewis Jones. He looks remarkably similar to the other Lewis Jones, though.
Can you do 2 classes?
You can at Fab.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do 2. Well, I would love to see someone do that. Do you reckon someone could do... They used to do it back a lot in the 90s.
Or maybe
do
he
2
entered.
classes, do 600s and Superbikes. How cool would that be?
I'm sure you could. Oh, it's just a matter of like paying 2 teams.
Yeah.
But in this economic climate, why would you? But
it'd be good to see, though. It'd be good to see. Okay,
well, if that's not the Lewis Jones of Fab, then it's definitely
that one is.
That one, okay. Well, okay. Well, I mean, you'd know since you probably know. Again, I think these guys were on track for the Snetterton Honda British Talent Cup test at the same time. I think it was these guys. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And interestingly, all the Honda British Talent Cup riders were a lot faster.
Their bikes do weigh a lot less than the 300s. So, and they're designed to go round corners. These are designed to like go to the shops and back. So,
yeah, but I mean, visually looking trackside, as a layman such as I, the bigger bikes must therefore have more power and go faster. But no.
Yeah, the power to weight ratio is a lot different. Anyway, back to choosing fab riders. Lewis Jones, Callum Beach, good friends.
James McManus. No,
I can't say I remember.
Kieran Kent did a round.
Danny Kent's younger brother.
And Danny Kent. Lewis Smart. No, I don't think so.
No. I can't say I see anymore. Charlie Atkins.
Yes, he definitely did.
He started off in stock 600s last year and has gone back to 300s. He did win a race on his comeback as well at Brands Hatch. Okay. Finn Smart, obviously, he did fab for a very long.
Ollie Horner.
Ollie Horner? Yeah.
He was in 70s last year.
Yeah, he was. So
what the? Okay.
And then Jack Kirsch as well, he did.
Yeah, I remember Jack Kirsch.
So that's about all of the fab ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Jacob Stevenson as well.
Oh, yeah.
Jacob Stevenson, yeah, he did.
I remember him.
Yeah. So I think ones to look out for this season. Ooh.
Go on. Well, while you think about it, I'll put Luke on the spot because this class is even harder in terms of people who we all know. Because, well, let's be honest, we don't all know them, do we? So I suppose you can just guess at one if you don't have any other idea, Luke.
No, I'm going to go with James McManus.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like he did decent last year from what I can remember. So that's my with no knowledge guess.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah, that's not bad. Lewis, do you know any of these riders? Friends with it? Have you raced with anybody?
Not in this class. No, the class has changed a lot since last season. Actually,
it's like a new year.
But yeah, but Charlie Atkins, I'm going to go with. I would say. Yeah. Katie Hand which is on the screen at the moment. She's the Thundersport GP3 champion, I believe.
Oh, right. Okay.
So she she's a fast rider, so she's definitely one to look out for as the year goes on.
Quite a few females in this category.
Riders. Yeah, there is. Lucy Whitmore as well on the OMG Racing Yamaha as well in the R3. Scarlett
Robinson as well, and there was
Holly Harris.
Holly's in Talent Cup.
Oh no, sorry, Talent Cup. Yeah,
for the time being. Abs Thomas. And apologies if I've missed anybody out. Charlotte there, whose name I don't want to try and pronounce because I'll probably get it. No. Charlotte Marcuso.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Marcuso, I think. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
I'm usually terrible with names anyway, but this category is an interesting one to watch. Just basically for most people, just to see who the next crop of big names to progress on into like Superstock or Supersport. So this is an interesting category. If for that alone, I actually think Harry Cook will win quite a few races this year, potentially with or fighting with Finn Smart Whedon.
Finn is fast. He just got to learn to stay on a bit more. He is very quick, but he's been doing a lot of races before this race because he's been doing the Bsb Championship. So he's definitely going to be ready to go. But I think I'm going to go Charlie Atkins. I think with his experience coming back from 600s, and obviously he did do a few meetings on the 300 last year and he did win one of them. I think Charlie would be the one to beat. I also want to see Callum Beach do well as well. He had a few good rides last season as well.
Yeah, there's quite a few names that we just all want people to do well, generally. We don't want anyone to well. What's the next category? I can't even see. I put my monitor right over there for some reason.
It's got to be Talent Cup now, isn't it?
I'm going to skip the Ducati Tri-Options Cup because, of course, we all know who's going to win that one.
Josh Day's not in it anymore, so it won't be him.
Okay, fair enough. So on to the Honda British Talent Cup.
I'm not doing fab riders in this because you might as well just say it.
Well, it's easier to say who isn't a fab rider, basically. It's basically fab of BSB, plus a few other names as well. These pictures that they've got are all a bit... I don't want to upset any photographers.
No, you can say it. So it looks like a crime lineup.
Do not upset the photographers. So let's not talk about it. But anyway, from what these people look nothing like the people who they actually are. Josh Bannister, who I think did his first full season in Talent Cup last year. I think he started halfway through. I don't think it was quite full. Okay, well, he's definitely his first one, he's just thrown me like half of these faces don't look like they're very expo. Yeah, I think they're going to be redoing some of the photos from this. But yeah, basically, names to watch out for. I'll tell you because I'll be filming some of the extra little paddock bits. So myself and Jack Hammersley will be there this weekend at Silverstone doing stuff. So if you're around in the paddock and you see me wandering about with the camera, that will be why. I don't just go around filming the children in the paddock. I really don't. But names to watch out for, thank you, will be Bailey Stewart Campbell on the Team 151s. He has had a lot of injuries over the past couple of years. Super quick. On his day, will challenge very easily any top three, even Casey O'Gorman when he was riding. And have you ridden with him, Jay, on pit bikes or something? He's pretty... He would have been on an extreme bike while I was on a pit bike, so we'll say we've been on the same track, but I can't say we've raced against each other. Fair enough. He would have lapped me, maybe. Fair enough. Scott Mcphee, relative of John Mcphee, so says Lewis.
Yeah, believe he's his... I forgot the relation actually, but I was just going to say relative, but yeah. Yeah, relative. Yeah, I have raced against him. He's a fast rider. He only started racing on tarmac last year, I believe, was his first ever season. Before that, he was on a motocross bike. So it's been a massive jump to go to the British Talent Cup. But over the winter, he's been getting coaching from Simon Crafar and John Mcphee. And he's progressed a lot through pre-season testing in Spain, and he's really fast now. He was really fast last year, and I definitely think he can get some good results this year. Yeah, I think from memory, I don't remember exactly how well he did from Snetterton, but I remember his name being up there in the right half of the timing sheets, I think. So Scott Mcphee, relative of their John Mcphee, and we'll find out which type of relative he is. Let's say... I'm going to go nephew. Nephew. Yeah, that's
what I said before the show, yeah.
Nephew, there we go.
That was a total guess, I didn't even know.
Well, I'll ask him. Troy Jeffrey, also from up there north.
Yeah, and raced against him as well.
Have you? What's he like? As a rider?
Fast. I was racing with him.
Pretty aggressive, isn't he?
5. Yeah, he's pretty aggressive. He's a ruthless rider. He's really light. I haven't seen him in, I think, half a season. So I don't know if he's grown any, but last time I seen him, he was quite small. So the weight's really going to help him this year, I would say. Because on the 125s, he flew past me in a straight line just because of the sheer weight of him.
Fair enough.
He did do Fab. He did mini motos at Fab.
Yeah, I remember Troy Jeffrey and also Reece Stevenson as well. Well, as we said, a lot of these riders is basically a Fab grid of Fab graduates, apart from a few names. But Reece Stevenson
had some good results last year. Really impressive for his first big year on bikes. So I'm expecting to see him up the front. Really nice lad as well. I expect to see. He had quite a lot of mechanicals last year, so hopefully he'll have a better bike underneath him this year. So
talking about mechanicals, his motorhome broke down from.
I did see that as well.
On Facebook. Yeah. So
hopefully that won't be happening on the track a lot.
Well, no. Anyway, Ted Wilkinson talking about off-roading, I think he was, what do you call it? Not the...
Flat track.
Flat track, that's it.
He did some Fab rounds. He did some, I'm going to say it for everyone, but to get used to tarmac, he did do some Fab rounds last year, I believe.
Might have been 2020.
Yeah.
Which is basically all 21.
Yeah.
All merged into one. Ted did do a couple of... Again, this is, the Honda British Talent Cup. Fab Racing providing a true stepping stone into the Honda British Talent Cup. So if you're a young rider, check it out. Check out Fab Racing for your path to motorcycle racing success. The Honda British Talent Cup then, the field, Alfie Davison, might be a learning year for him.
I think he was injured for all of last season, weren't he? So
he was.
Yeah, I saw he had one of those Ian Hutchinson style cages around his leg, didn't he? So, but he's an extremely quick rider, so if he can get back to fitness, he'll be one up the front as well. I
don't think that picture is Lucas Brown. Unless it's...
No, that definitely is Lucas. We only saw him last weekend, didn't we? That's definitely Lucas.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I last remember him on the floor when he got taken out by some back marker rider.
Oh, yeah, he was in the Rossi Banham incident as well, weren't he?
Yeah.
He's given me his old tyres off his Moto3 to go on the Moto Team bike, so I'm supporting Lucas.
Are they any good?
Well, at the end of the day, what's it? British Talent Cup bike's got 45 horsepower, and I think my Moto Team bike's probably got about 6. So I think an old tyre will be able to handle it, won't it?
If you say so. I mean, obviously technical knowledge is right up there. Eli Banish, I don't know too much about, or is it Elijah? I'm going to say Eli. I don't know too much about him. I think he was around for some rounds last year. I remember the name briefly. Be interesting to see what he can do. And Zach Weston as well. But yeah, some other standout names to watch out for. I think when everything's going well for Ryan Hitchcock, he will be right up there in the top 6, maybe fighting for podiums as well.
Yeah, he's moved teams this year from the Wilson team to the City Lifting team, and we know the City Lifting team, their bikes are always up the front, so yeah, he'll be one to watch out for. Luca Hopkins as well, it'll be his second season as well, so another one.
Yeah, also Ollie Walker, he got I think at least a podium or a couple of podiums last year, or was it a pole position? He did pretty well at some point.
He was extremely quick last year, but very unlucky in some rounds. And I think he had an injury for a little while as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, there's so many to look out for in there. And then there's Evan, Johnny Garnes. Johnny Garnes is my favourite for the championship this year. I know you don't agree with me.
Whoa, I never said anything about Johnny Garnes. Who's your favourite for the championship this year, Jay?
Johnny Garnes.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. I asked him, interesting fun fact, for those who don't know, Johnny Garnes is probably, I mean, these are all young riders, as you can probably tell, but Johnny looks the youngest, even though he's probably one of the most experienced. He's doing, I think, the ETC European Talent Cup, I think, this year. Again, yes, he's teammates with Casey. Am I getting that right? Or
I think you're right. Yeah, I think if he can get good results this year, I think teams are going to snap him up just for one reason. He is tiny. He is absolutely tiny.
I did ask him at Snetterton, has he grown at all in like 12 months or the last 6 months? He hasn't grown. He's like no, nothing against Sean people, but his mum and dad are quite small as well. So his dad's not.
Don't you think? I think he's.
No, he's like 6 foot.
Is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no. As a fellow short person, I know you can't tell on the radio, but so I empathise with Johnny Garnes there. But yeah, whatever, make it work to your advantage. Evan Belford, name to watch out for. He was quickest in the Snetterton test in pre-season. Honda British Talent Cup racer, surely set for many podiums, many wins, possibly a championship fight. I'm going to put him down for a championship contender. Picture looks nothing like him. Sorry, but it doesn't.
Clayton Edmonds as well. Last year, he won last year's Fab 50 Championship, so he'll be looking to be
Harrison Mcphee as well. There's so many names that, to be honest, I think we're like, me and you are like experts in this class. Because I mean,
I need to come work for you, Lester.
Or maybe Dorner.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give us a call. Actually, one name to watch out for as well. One of many names to watch out for, Philip Soroviak. And Carter Brown as well. And Harrison McKay as well.
Why didn't we just say the whole breeds?
Watch it live.
Philip has the best riding style in the world as well. It's like a carbon copy of Marquez's style. It is absolutely brilliant.
Well, it's funny you should say that because he's currently a little bit injured as well. He had he had a nasty accident pre-season, I think, in Spain somewhere. I think that's yours, Jay.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, so I've got my heart.
Sorry, I just noticed. So, yeah, anyway. Philip had a really bad injury. It's talking about the test at Snetterton, something about mangling his finger up. But he will be back. I don't know if he's riding this weekend. He'll be brave if he is. But anyway, check it all out. We've talked on quite a lot. We've talked more about the Honda British Talent Cup than we have in BSB, I think. But check it out live on the Eurosports or Quest or Luke. Do we know exactly what exact channel it is on?
It's like on every channel, isn't it?
Eurosport this weekend.
Eurosport, the place to be, and it may also be streamed on the Honda British Talent Cup YouTubes as well. So check them out. Right. There's too many to pick, I think, from the BSB thing. Plus, we've also got loads of other stuff to talk about. Anyway, it is the Superbike Show. It's Motorsport Radio. And we are live doing this show on a Wednesday, day before the Honda British Talent Cup test, which is tomorrow. I've got to get up there early to do some filming. Jack Hammersley is there at the moment. I suppose waiting for us. And that's why he's not here on the show. It should be a fantastic weekend. Fred Clark has been on the internet in the last 5 minutes. Fred Clark, former BSB radio commentator, trackside commentator, and voice of motorcycle racing in the UK. If you've not been following him on Facebook, do so. It's just Fred Clark-commentator. And he often regales everybody with various stories about various people he knew and interesting stories from way back when. I won't read all of that out, but he has just put out a big long story in a post in the last 5 minutes. I might even share it on the official BSB fans and Facebook support category group. Hello to everyone who tuned in there. Right, shall we talk about the little matter of MotoGP? Because some say it was a fantastic race. Luke?
Well, I don't think that.
It was a lot better than normal American races.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Circuit of the Americas, though. I think it is very dull for racing. But it was better than what it has been in the past. Oh, yeah, apart from that, it was great.
Okay. I'll inform us then.
Ducati. look like they may be on the right path to fix their issues, as Bastianini won on the 2021 spec Ducati, and Miller, who was on the 22 spec, was on the podium in 3rd place. Also, Bagnaia got a 5th place finish on the 22 spec as well, so Ducati may be on their way to doing better like we thought they would at the start of the season, or like I thought they would. And Suzuki as well, still looking strong as ever, 2nd and 4th for them. This time they're not side by side on the stand, on the finishing order. There's one rider in between them for the first time this season. And Honda are looking in trouble. The only rider who seems to be able to make their bike work is Marquez still, even after the massive changes they've made over winter. So that's a worrying sign for them.
Oh.
Yamaha, the only strong rider for them was Quartararo again, but then again that was only in 7th. And last week, 2 weeks ago, after Argentina, he even said that 7th places won't win me a championship, so things need to change at Yamaha quickly.
Boom. Your thoughts, Luke, on we'll get to your rider ratings for MotoGP and go through and absolutely obliterate your opinions, your strongly, firmly held opinions on how everybody did later. But for now, your overall takeaway, how was the race? Good, bad, rubbish?
Well,
considering the track, of course.
Considering the track, it was the best race we've had at Circuit of the Americas.
Okay.
But yeah, I just don't enjoy the racing there normally.
All right. Lewis, you watched the race, presumably. What was your takeaways from it? Do you agree with Luke?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the best race we've probably ever seen at the Circuit of the Americas. Marquez probably, in my opinion, was their standout rider of the day just because of that strange incident that happened at the start. Probably the best way to describe it is it was almost like an anti-stall for a motorbike. It was so weird. He just released the clutch and nothing was there, which dropped him all the way back to last place. Ducati, I would say, have definitely found something at least, but Pecco Bagnaia still needs to get that first podium of the year, which I don't think anyone would be saying 3 races into the season, because it was quite strange actually coming into the season with just the fact that the 2021 champion actually wasn't the favourite going into the season, and now that we've got underway, it's completely changed. Quartararo is not in the equation with Yamaha on what I would probably say is the worst bike on the grid. Although Honda and KTM still have plenty of development to go, Yamaha have almost hit a dead end with their motorcycle and they're getting nowhere with it. They've had the same issue since 2015-14 and they're still stuck at this dead end where they cannot find any top speed. And while Honda still, it's a new bike and they still have time to develop it, and same with KTM.
Okay. Very thorough. Thank you. Yeah, Jay, I presume you also watched the MotoGP race.
I sat and watched it all of Sunday evening, wasn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, it was, like I said, it was one of the better races from the America track. I actually do like the America track, but I'm not going to lie, it normally does show some boring racing. But I think if that start incident wouldn't have happened to Marquez, I think he would have won. He did struggle a bit towards the end of the race, but the reason he struggled towards the end of the race is because he had to go like a bat out of hell to catch everyone back up again. But yeah, I got a feeling Marquez would have won if that start incident hadn't happened. It was good to see Jack Miller back on the podium again. I was hoping that he was going to win, and at one point it did look like he was going to, because he did start to pull a bit of a gap. But Jack has always struggled with conserving his tyres a bit, so yeah, I don't know if that's something to do with the new Ducati or Jack, but Bastianini winning again, I don't think any of us would have ever said at the start of the season after 3 race meetings that Bastianini is going to have won 2 races. But
why not?
Well, it just... you would have got very good money on it, let's put it that way. So
Well, considering everybody had their money on the Ducatis, wrongly so.
Yeah, but I think Bastianini, along with his teammate, and I can't pronounce his name, one of these two lads will. I think they were probably the least two you were expecting to win on the Ducatis. So.
Okay. Although, and I vaguely remember our predictions from last week's show, Jay. Do you remember?
I remember mine because I went for all the M's. I went Marquez, Mir, and Miller, and I got one right.
Yeah, you got one right. And I think I agreed with you as well. I said that they're right.
Yeah. I think, like I said, if the start thing hadn't happened, I think Marquez would have won, but we couldn't have predicted that start thing. So, and Marquez did come close to crashing quite a few times in that race, trying to come from back. So, yeah.
Well, it's maybe probably a good thing that you should maybe sometimes expect the unexpected as well, as one commentator once said. Anything can happen in Murray Walk or something.
Yeah.
Overall, big points then, Luke. Big takeaways from the weekend in Moto3. I sort of want to rattle through this because we've got other Brits to talk about, Moto 2 and 3, and World Superbikes as well, all within a couple of hours. But biggest stories for you to emerge going forward.
From Moto 3 side of things, Jamal Masia is finally won a race in this season, which was good to see since he's had a very, very poor start to the season. But once again, it's Dennis Foggia and Mino hot on his tail, who are two which are championship favourites. But Masia has now thrown his name into the hat. Okay.
And the Brits, Moto 3, what about the Vision Track team? How did they do?
Scott Ogden did amazing. Got himself into the points, 12th place.
Again.
Great race for Scott. Second time this season, I think that he's got points, so he's having a strong start to his year, and I can imagine it's only going to get better when he gets to the track he knows in Europe, so keep an eye on Scott. And Josh Watley, he had to retire for I never actually found out what reason, but he had to put into the pits, so I imagine it was a technical fault.
Yeah, I think I saw a social post from him, and I don't think he said exactly what it was, but maybe I wasn't watching other post where he said, but yeah, shame for him. For Josh, both Fab riders, incidentally, Fab graduates. Just saying.
One of the best races ever at Mallory Park, weren't it, for the championship?
Yes, it was, which you can go back on and listen to on motorsport.radio with Tom Brooks commentating. So, for you then, J Moto 3, thoughts?
I'm sounding like these persons, what if, but I'm going to say Guevara would have won if he hadn't had his 2 long lap penalties, because he at the end, he was pretty much on the back of the front group again. And obviously we know in Moto 3, if you detach yourself from that front group, it's extremely hard to get back onto the back of it. And 5 more laps, maybe even less than that around that long track, he would have been on the back of that group again. So yeah, Guevara, if he hadn't had the long lap penalties, I think he would have been of a good chance to win. But great result for Scott, for the Brits again.
Yeah. And Moto 2 and a Brit on the podium, Luke.
Yeah, it's the Brit which maybe people wouldn't have expected with Sam Lowe's past glory around Kota, but it was Jake Dixon who finally got his maiden Moto2 podium.
Yeah, a lot of celebrations, and as I was busy driving back from Knock Hill at the time, I didn't actually watch it live, and my first time I saw the news, I think it popped up as a video on BT Sport Twitter, and he was there celebrating, and I was there sort of watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, he won. Did he? No, not. Oh,
not while you're driving.
No, I definitely wasn't doing that. But I was, because I'm a safe driver. I haven't murdered anyone yet. But yeah, no, the way that, top celebrations, as though he'd won. That was my first thought. But alas, not yet. Anyway, but still, fantastic performance and long deserved. Lewis, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been long deserved. France 2020 is probably the sticks in my mind. It really just shows how much this means to him, how distraught he was after crashing out of the lead of the race at Le Mans, and just his face and his reaction just shows how much this victory means to him. And the question is now he's got his first podium in the bag, can he keep the momentum rolling throughout the rest of the season? And we could potentially see a Jake Dixon win once we get to tracks he's slightly more familiar. He knows a bit more, such as Silverstone, his home race. Could we see something magical there?
Jay, great result.
Yeah, it was good for Joe. I think Jake will actually admit it probably wasn't one of his best races in Moto2. I think he'd say he's had better, but there were incidents with Canet crashing, and I forgot the lad who was leading the championship up till then, who crashed out early on in the Vierta, in the early laps. So I think Jake would probably admit that it wasn't probably his best race, but with how unlucky he's been, like I said, with the Le Mans race a couple of years ago and last weekend crashing out at second place, he fully deserves to finally get a podium. So all those emotions came flooding out. And I think we might see a change now. I think obviously this is going to be a lot of confidence for Jake. So I think we could see a change in a top Brit in Moto2 now. I think maybe Sam and Jake could swap over now.
Wow, okay. You think it's, it's just one result, really.
Yeah, but trust me, getting that result will mean everything to him now. And he has done quite well at Portimao before, and that's the next round. So I think maybe the tides could turn, but Sam goes well at Portimao as well. So we'll see.
Luke, are we writing Sam Lowes off?
I'm not writing Sam off just yet. The crash that he had in America wasn't his fault, as we discussed before the show, but it was an unlucky incident for Sam. But I don't think we can write him fully out of a potential championship challenge still, especially with Vietti crashing and the lead dropping to other riders.
Lewis, your thoughts on Sam Lowes overall? Are you a fan? It's
just that he's been making one too many mistakes. But obviously this round, there was nothing he could have done. But this season, just so far, although we're only 3 races in, you've really got to question how much this is going to hit his confidence, and it's going to make it more difficult next year to find a seat with the amount of talent that is now in Moto2 that we've seen come for it in the past 2 years is just ridiculous. And the Mark VDS team is probably one of the best teams on the grid. So if Sam really just needs to find results pretty soon before it's contract time, I would say.
Interesting. Some brutal comments there about Sam Lowes.
It's a brutal sport, Lester.
I know. One minute you're riding high as the pit bike 140 champion of the world. Next minute you're contemplating retirement.
Getting beaten by 12-year-olds.
Outrageous. and they're the people that you thought, as a 30-plus-year-old, they'd be easy to beat, all them kids and stuff, but not quite. I don't know. When's Mcphee back? John Mcphee.
Probably Portimao, I guess.
Hopefully.
What was his injury again? Because it seems like
he broke a vertebrae.
Yeah.
Is that your back? That's your back, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll let him off. Just thinking he's been out for quite a long time. But, I mean, checks out. Okay, right.
Be.
Yeah. So there we go. Before we move on, and I'm not one to forget these sorts of things because Luke wrote it down, we are attempting to do every round, unless we forget, Luke's rider ratings. Sorry about that. Basically, Luke turns the tables, flips the charts, and reveals what he thinks about how everybody did in MotoGP. And then we all basically slag him off. So, yeah. Luke, I guess, you can tell us, in reverse order, to make it more exciting and full of tension, your MotoGP Circuit of the Americas rider ratings.
So, at the bottom, we have Alex Marquez with a 1 out of 10.
Whoa!
I got 1. Right?
Yeah, started 23rd, didn't finish. He's having an awful season. If I gave 0 points, he would have got 0 points.
Oh.
It was an awful weekend for Alex.
You savage bitch.
For Zeki, I gave a 2 out of 10, purely because he started 16th as a rookie around COTA on an older Ducati. I think he's on the 2021 model. So I was impressed with that. Obviously, he crashed out of the race. I'm not sure if it was a technical issue that came after his crash or from before, because obviously he was his bike was smoking when he rejoined. So there's that. Darren Binder, I gave a 2 out of 10. This might be Darren's worst result in MotoGP so far, with a 22nd place finish. Dead last, but he did have also issues with his bike. I think it was sensor related from what I heard, but again, he wasn't doing too well before he pulled into the pits anyway. Marini, I gave him a 2 out of 10 as well. He started 10th and he looked hopeful. Marini's qualifying is much better than his race pace. He finished 17th. It just wasn't a good performance from Marini overall after what looked like it could be a promising weekend. Fabio Di Gianantonio, I gave him a 2 out of 10 as well. Started 18th, finished 21st. Again, a rookie. He's on an older Ducati as well. Still not as bad as Alex Marquez. Franco Morbidelli, I gave a 2.5 out of 10. Started 19th, finished 16th. Can't tell what's going on with Franco. I don't know if it's still injury related, if he just can't figure out the Yamaha, but something's not right for someone who finished second in the world in 2020, I believe. Miguel Oliveira, 2.5 out of 10. Finished 18th, started 20th. The KTMs didn't go very well around COTA, but I expected more from KTM and Oliveira as a whole, as he is the most experienced MotoGP KTM rider on the grid. Taka Nakagami, I gave him a 3 out of 10.
Great.
Started, well, he finished 14th. He got himself some points. So for how Taka's season's gone, it's a decent result for him. Remy Gardner, I gave a 3.5 out of 10, purely because he got beaten by his teammate just a little bit.
Yeah, but he finished in 20th.
Finished 20th, but I'm thinking more the rookies on a KTM, whereas Oliveira finished 18th, so really he wasn't too far behind an experienced KTM rider, so I thought that was a good showing from the rookies of Fernandez and Gardner. Fernandez I gave a 4, purely because he was right behind Oliveira. Good result, really, when you think he's a rookie and he's staying with the most experienced KTM rider in MotoGP. Paul Espargaro, I gave a 4 out of 10. It was going to be lower because of how bad of a weekend he had. Finished 13th, should have been higher. But when you take into account that he had been struggling with an illness all weekend, which had been holding him back, it wasn't a great result, but still it is damage limitation really for his season, I guess. Dovi, I gave Dovi a 4.5 out of 10. He actually looked okay throughout the whole weekend. Started 15th, finished 15th, got himself a point. Obviously, the bike we know and the team that he's in isn't going to fight at the front, so 15th place for Dovi is good for the machine he's on. Zarco, I gave Zarco a 5 out of 10. It was a very average weekend for Zarco. Started 4th, finished 9th. It looked like tyre wear maybe slowed him down in the later stages of the race. He's also now been made Ducati's test rider during a race weekend, so if they have any parts, Zarco has to use it, so I'm not sure if there's something in that as well. Martin, I gave a 5.5 out of 10, purely because he got pole, dropped down to 8th, which is unexpected for Martin. When he gets pole, you often think he's going to go with the leading group. he will finish on the podium, which looked like it would happen, but he dropped back towards the end. Brad Binder, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Top KTM, 12th, which doesn't sound amazing, but for what an awful weekend KTM had, he still managed to pull in some decent points. Aleix Espargaro, 6 out of 10 as well. Come from the highs of winning in Argentina to 11th in America. It shows that Aprilia and KTM aren't a fully developed package yet, even though they've won races this season. Quartararo, I gave him a 6.5 out of 10. Started 6th, finished 7th. Again, damage limitation for the defending champion.
You'd expect more from him, though.
I do expect more, but again, if you put him in retrospect against the other Yamahas, he's far outperforming them, probably far outperforming the bike, because everyone else is way back. Vinales, I gave him a 7 out of 10. He only finished 10th, but he beat Aleix Espargaro, which, in my opinion, and he had decent race pace when you look at his lap times. It's purely the qualifying in 14th, which I imagine wasn't helpful for Vinales, but beating Aleix, who's been on that bike since 2017 and has been the man developing it all these years, it's nothing. You know, it's a big achievement to actually beat a teammate like Aleix, who has been with that team, and the team is almost built around nowadays.
Okay.
Pecco, I gave Pecco a 7.5. Started 3rd, finished 5th. I expected a little bit more from Pecco, but 5th place is his best result, his joint best from Argentina. So there's positive signs from Pecco now this season. Mir, I gave Mir an 8.5. Started 8th, finished 4th. Again, he makes his way up through the races. Again, qualifying lets him down a little bit. If the Suzukis could qualify on the front 2 rows, they'd probably be podiums every race, really, with how that race pace is, their 2 riders. Marquez, gave him a 9 out of 10. 7th to 24th to 6th. It was an incredible ride from Marquez. It just shows the talent he has, and like we said earlier, if he hadn't have had that start problem, he would have won the race. He would have run away with it. There would have been a full 25 points, I reckon. Miller, I gave a 9 out of 10 as well. 2nd to 3rd, I was impressed by Miller. Thought he was going to win it. Obviously, it looked like tyre problems came in, but Miller made the mature decision, which he hasn't made in the past sometimes, of actually just accepting 3rd. Old Miller would have thrown it down the bin, thrown it into the bin, fighting with Bastianini, but kept his cool, got himself a podium, which is good for Miller. Rins, I gave Rins a 10 out of 10. I wasn't expecting. I said Rins would get a podium, but if you compare Rins this season to last season, much better rider, looks completely different. Silvan Gantoli said on BT Sport that he's pretty much guaranteed to stay with Suzuki next season as well. I was hard on Rins at the start of the season, but now my opinion on Rins is changing as he's looking more and more confident each round. Bastianini, a 10 out of 10 as well. It was a really good ride, classic Bastianini ride of sitting back in that group, sitting about 3rd, 4th for the early stages of the race, and then once again he's just managed to save something in his tyres and just went at the front towards the end.
All right. Interesting. Is an understatement to summarise that.
I match all of that, to be fair.
There was a couple of really weird things in there. Lewis, your thoughts on those rider ratings? Bit weird. Do you agree, disagree? And what was absolutely ludicrous?
I agree with most of them, to be fair. The one I probably mostly disagree with is the Alex Rins 10 out of 10. Just because of it's always been a circuit that Rins has been extremely fast at. If I remember correctly, it's also where he got his first Moto2 victory. But it's always been a circuit that he's been fast at. I think we need to wait later on until we start getting circuits like Jerez and Le Mans, circuits that we've been at pretty much almost every single year, before we can properly judge on how comfortable he is on that motorcycle. The one I'm pretty much mostly agree with, 100% agree with, is the Alex Marquez being, it was a dreadful race, been a dreadful season, and it was a dreadful season last year as well. And it's such a strange thing that's happened to Alex Marquez and Takaki Nakagami, because Alex Marquez had some great results in 2020 on the Repsol Honda, and he was looking to be a superstar in the next couple of seasons. But as soon as he went to the LCR team, it's mainly staying on the bike that's his issue, and now it looks like it's got to him so much that it's ruined his confidence, and he's not got qualifying pace either.
Okay.
They missed Cal Crutchlow. They haven't had a good result since Cal left.
Well,
he's not wrong.
That might be the thing, but it seems like, Luke, those rider ratings. Jay, do you agree that they were sort of? I get the feeling that Luke had prejudged how everybody should do, based on his own opinions of them, and then judged their actual performance from his own impressions of how they do, and then judged some of those rider ratings from there. I think there was who did you say was like really high up, and was it Martin? I think. What did he give for Martin, Luke?
5.5.
Right. Average.
But he finished 8th.
That was an extremely good qualifying lap, so you have to get some points for that. I mean, that was ballistic.
Yeah.
Okay, what Jay, do you overall agree, disagree? What would you have said differently?
I agree that, like the Rins one, I don't agree it was that high. It was very good with Rins, and I think you're going the way Rins, like as last year, Rins, if he had actually stayed on in those races that he crashed in last year, Rins, he would have been championship contender. And this year, he's getting those results where last year he would have crashed. So at the moment, the way the championship looks at the moment, I can't see Bastianini doing this all season, sadly. But I can see Rins doing this all season if he keeps getting good results when he can and chuck a few wins into there now and again. I think he's going to be right there at the end of the championship. So at the moment, the way the championship looks, I think Rins has got to be one of the favourites for it. So
let us know. Get in touch.
Experience at the front,
if you tuned in, downloaded the show, maybe listening on a podcast from a favourite podcast provider. Do you agree with Luke's rider ratings? Would you have given a 10 out of 10 for Rins in that Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix, the Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas, actually, in MotoGP at the weekend? Get in touch. Have your say. Do you have an alternative rider ratings that you keep track of? Because Luke's been keeping track of his season so far, basically adding up all the different scores and different points. Have you done that? Have you updated the total championships or the alternative Luke's rider rating championships spreadsheet?
I did, and I think it's a Suzuki 1-2 at the moment between Rins at the top and Mir just behind.
Wow, someone like Suzuki. Okay.
They've just been very consistent all season. You can't knock them with how they've done.
Well, you can.
Well, they haven't really, when you look at them, had a bad result this season. Not like they've.
How many races have they won?
None yet, but when you look at the championship compared to others, they've been very, very consistent, and if they keep it up, they are championship
Everyone remembers the end of the season, Leicester, not the start of it. So if they just get these good results for now and they start winning at the end, you're going to think they're amazing.
Exactly, and I mean, to be fair, I mean, going off what everyone else's opinion of Alex Marquez is, you might say, well, he's been quite consistent so far as well.
Consistently crashing, yeah.
Well, if consistency is key, then he'd be number one in
the standings.
Okay. Just run us through your top 6 then in Luke's rider ratings top 6, or however many you have pre-prepared.
Well, give me a minute. I haven't got it open.
Oh, okay.
Closed it earlier. Talk about something else. It won't take me long, hopefully.
Oh, okay.
We need to talk about World Superbikes. We've only got 10 minutes left.
Yeah, we've only got a few minutes left. It's not like we planned to talk about this, Luke, in our expertly prepared show.
Well, you forgot last time, so I was just assuming that Yeah, I was just assuming that you wouldn't ask for my spreadsheet. I just assumed
we always forget questions as well, Lester. Have we got any from the audience? Have we got an audience?
Yes, of course we have. There's Jay's mum. No, tune in. I don't know. No, actually, go on.
She's in Italy. She won't be watching today.
Oh, she might be. We are international.
Okay.
Actually, I've been on the internets again, and going back to BSB regarding Sam Cox from earlier, I think someone incorrectly mentioned that he is still with NP Racing. And I've read the whole statement now since we came on air. This was from a couple of days ago. He said on a social media account, "It is with deep regret that we're having to announce we are no longer competing in the British Superbike Championship and have parted ways with NP Racing. The issues that Sam and the team have faced," I'm guessing he didn't write this, "during the off-season, combined with it being Sam's first season in BSB, pre-race testing was vitally important. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen technical issues with the Superbike, he was not able to spin any laps, and that would build the necessary familiarity and confidence with the bike prior to the race season starting officially." The statement goes on, but he says, "Massive thanks to everyone for the continued support at Sam Cox Racing." Well, hopefully he'll be on the grid later in the season as well.
I was half right then.
Yeah, but not fully. Anyway, so Luke, any joy with dragging up? No, okay. Let's move on then to. Never mind. Sorry, my mistake. I'll plan it better for next time. But
I'll make sure I have them up next time.
I'll get some nice graphics, and there'll be some fancy things, and everyone will be like, "Oh, this is too professional for the likes of Motorsport Radio." But anyway, World Superbikes. Oh yeah, that came back, and well, did we all watch it?
Yep.
Majority of it. I didn't watch the Saturday race, but I watched the Sunday race. It was a very like last season, really. Apart from we replaced Scott Redding with Bautista, really. 3 people kind of out front. So yeah, it was. I heard the Saturday race was a lot better, but I'm yet to have seen that yet. So
okay, well, if you need to check out the video pass on the excellent World Superbike website, you can go and do so. Only cost you a few £100. Probably, maybe not. I'm joking. It's not that expensive for someone who can afford it. But yeah, Luke, your main points, your takeaways from World Superbikes at the weekend at the very popular Aragon circuit. Being sarcastic.
Well, the main takeaway has to be that Alvaro Bautista, he's gelled straight away with his Ducati again. He's jumped back on it after 2 years away with Honda, and straight away he's fighting with Jonathan Rae again, right at the front. Race 1 came down to the wire between Bautista and Rae. So again, he's at the front with Rae. He even checked out in Superpole and race 2. It was just Bautista domination in those 2 races. And again, Rae was first and 2 second places. So again, Jonathan Rae's going to be right at the front all season. Don't write him off yet. Top Rack, 3rd places across the board in all 3 races at a circuit that he doesn't like and the Yamaha doesn't like. So that's a very good start to his championship defence.
Okay, there was a big question potentially to answer about pre-season expectation for Scott Redding. What happened?
Yeah, it hasn't got off to a good start for Scott. He's only got 1 point after 3 races. Finished 15th in race 1. The Superpole race looked promising. He finished 12th, I think, but that doesn't score you points in Superpole. It's only the top 9, I think, that gets points from that. And then the final race of the weekend, it just all went wrong. He was back down in 25th at one point. and then he just pulled into the pits. I don't know. I imagine he had a brake problem looking at it, because he was running it wide into every corners. Race 1, he didn't even make the braking zone at all. He just ran it straight off onto the runoff. So it didn't look like a good start to life for Redding at BMW.
Oh. Was it just a package of that he's got, or was it just maybe a one-off thing?
The other BMWs weren't doing awful. His standing teammate, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, Mcphee, I think it is, finished 8th in race 1. I think he had a crash in one of the races and again was in points in another. So I wouldn't even say that the BMW is a bad package, because Baz looked good on it as well, and Laverty was in and around the top 10. So I purely think it is just Scott either getting used to the bike, or there was just I think it's purely Scott getting used to the bike, or he's just not going to adapt to it very well this season compared to the Ducati, which is a V4, and I think the BMW is an inline 4, so there could be a problem there as well.
Early days, of course. It was only the first round, and Aragon is, as I said earlier, much loved circuit by everybody. Lewis, did you happen to catch much or all of the World Superbike action from the weekend?
I watched all the races bar race 1. I couldn't get to watch that, but I heard it was a good race. I've yet to watch it. But Scott Redding, it's definitely not been what he hoped for the start of the season. In race 2, he just couldn't get the bike stopped anywhere, and he was cruelly, really, really angry about it, which I don't think helped matters going on for the race. It would have been interesting if we had a camera as soon as he went back into that pit box. But yeah, I believe I did read somewhere that it is something to do with braking of the bike, whether that be with the brakes itself or potentially an electronic issue that is just to his bike for that race, because he was off his own pre-season times, and the BMW does run its own in-house electronics, which I believe it's the only manufacturer that does do that. So it could be potentially something to do with the electronics of the bike, the engine braking, just getting slightly confused with his motorcycle.
Yeah, potentially. There was a lot of speculation on social media, understandably, and potentially some of it unfair as well. Some comments about Scott Redding. Fab Racing graduate, of course, for Scott. Jay, your opinions on how things went in World Superbikes as a whole, round 1, and Scott Redding.
I kind of miss World Superbike being the first round of Phillip Island, because Phillip Island always brings out like the best racing of the season. It gets everyone G'd up for World Superbikes, because like from this first round, it does really seem like you've got them front 3 and then you've got the rest. And I just hope it doesn't turn like that for the rest of the season. Scott, obviously it doesn't look great at the moment, but
are we worrying too much too early?
I think a little bit. Well, I'm trying to say that to myself because I'm a Scott fan, but it's just I think we're going to struggle to see Scott on that BMW go with them 3, but we at least hope that he can get up to the likes of like Rinaldi and Lowe's and Baz and people like that, and Gerloff. Hopefully he can get there. And like I said, I think if they can get the bike working to that level and we have a few wet races, I think he could be closer to the front. But I'm hoping, we're thinking it's just too early and that they can all work together and get the bike working fine. But like we've said before, we've never really seen, not since like Leon Haslam and Melandri were on the BMW in the really early days, we haven't really seen a BMW threat like consistently at the front of World Superbikes.
It's something that he probably would have maybe sensed in testing, though, because I mean, me having never raced a bike, I have no idea. But I'm going to ask Lewis, who does race bikes to this day. You know straight away, pretty much, whether the bike you're on is pretty decent and roughly sort of where you're expecting to be on a grid, and how fast roughly you might be hoping it can go. Scott would have known early on, surely.
Yeah, I definitely would have. Basically, as soon as you jump on a new bike that's radically different, which the BMW is to the Ducati, you know if you're going to get along with it, or you know if it's going to be a long season. I definitely think for him, it's going to be a really long season. And if I was Scott right now, I would be having the objective by the end of the season to be the top BMW. I don't see him fighting with the top three. Maybe getting towards Alex Lowe's and people like that, I would say. But even in the rain this year with the BMW changing their chassis slightly, it's a lot. Well, the bike itself's a lot stiffer this year. So I don't think they're going to have the same advantage in the wet either. So this season's going to be long for him, I would say.
Okay. What about support categories? Luke, did you catch all of them or many of them?
I caught both World Supersport races. Baldassarri won his first ever Supersport race with Yamaha, and that was an incredible moment on the last lap between him and Domi Agata. Just Baldassarri lost the front. Agata was out wider than Baldassarri, and Baldassarri almost used him as a
barrier.
A barrier to stop himself from sliding away. That's the best way to describe it, really. And ended up winning the race, but Domi got
the same incident from the first round at Qatar in the Moto 2, where I think it was on. Was it on?
Gura lost the front and hit Fernandez. Yeah.
He would have crashed if he hadn't used him as a barrier.
Yeah.
So it's very similar.
Fernandez,
to So that was the only bit of the World Supersport I got, so I have no idea what else happened. How did Troy Bayliss's son do? Did he?
Ollie Bayliss, he didn't have he didn't get points, I don't think, this weekend, but it's purely, I imagine, a learning year for him. He hasn't been to these tracks before. He's only done Australian Superbikes and Australian Supersport, I think. So,
and it's the bike's first year in Supersport.
Yeah,
as well,
Bulaga got a podium with Ducati though in race 2, so that was good to see.
Okay. I watched. As I say, I was making my way back from Knock Hill on Sunday evening, so I didn't watch. And I was at Knock Hill all day Saturday, so I didn't actually manage to catch any of the racing live. But last night on ITV4, I did watch most of the highlights, voiced by old presenter of this show, Kiko Giles, and featuring another former Fab Racing commentator, Alex Raby, on comms. So Lewis is like, just saying. I managed to watch most of the highlights. Seemed pretty interesting, seemed pretty exciting, but that's what highlight show is supposed to be, isn't it? Exciting and interesting, and you got all the boring bits out. And I don't have a World Superbike video pass, so I'm not going to go back and watch the whole thing. Although I do have a Eurosport pass, video pass, so exactly, maybe I could actually go back and watch that, which leads me nicely on to mentioning about how we can watch BSB this weekend. Anyway, you can either check it out on Eurosport live on one of the Eurosport channels, Luke.
Eurosport 2, I think.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's only 2 channels. Be on one or the other. Alternatively, if you want to watch the entire world feed, and which includes everything basically. They basically put the feed on from the morning, show every race in full, live, pretty much uninterrupted, I would say. Yeah, uninterrupted, the whole literally the world feed. Anyone who's been to BSB and watched the big screens that they have or used to have trackside, it's basically a copy of that, really. And that will be also streamed, or it was last year and previous years, on the Eurosport player, which is probably now going to be called the Discovery Plus player, just to confuse you a little bit further. So, and I only mention this just because there's been quite a few comments, some a little mischievous comments thinking, well, where's the BSB going to be on this weekend? As if to rile people up, because it does. I've constantly mentioned it like a million times. But yeah, it's on the same place that it always was on, Eurosport, either on your telly or on the internet. And on ITV4. Highlights. Or it might be on Quest. Hope that clears it up.
So can everyone watch it now? Is it on normal TV? Or do you have to pay for it?
Well, okay, if you're talking about paying terms...
can you get it on Freeview?
You can get Quest on Freeview. So whenever it's on Quest, then you will be able to watch it on your Freeview or FreeSat or on wherever you get Quest channel. However, the main channel is Eurosport, which you may have to have a subscription for, depending on your subscription. I would strongly advise anyone who can't get to a race to get a Eurosport or Discovery Plus thing, which, by the way, they're the same thing. It's just they've confused the hell out of us all. And they still have a Eurosport app player. And also, but they want to basically, they've messed it all up. They're trying to make everybody go onto the Discovery Plus player and charge everyone a bit extra money. That's what it's all about. High Discovery. But yeah, so I'd advise everyone to get a Discovery Plus player subscription, only because it's fantastic value for money. And they didn't even pay me to say that. But we say it every year. It is good value for money. Not only do you get to watch every single BSB round live, highlights with all the usual people, minus Jack Bernicle, of course. But there's a new Bernicle called Steve Day on this year. But also, you get to watch World Superbikes as well, plus whatever other stuff. Oh, and the Endurance World Championship also, I think, on there. I think they still have that as well, which is always fun for endurance bike races. If you like, I don't know. So yeah, check it out. Hands up who has a Discovery Plus channel subscription plus app subscription. Me. Well, mine expires in like July, but I've still got it now.
I've just got Eurosport through BT Sport.
That's another way you can get it as well.
Okay. You can watch MotoGP, World Superbikes and British Superbikes then.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it costs you a fortune though.
It does. It's like 45 quid a month. Tell me about it.
Or what you could do with that £45.
Well, I'm a football fan as well, and I have to watch Champions League, so you have to have BT as well for that.
Forget all of that nonsense. Take your £45, go to the track, and yes, you may be able to. I'm sure you can get a ticket for £45. Yes, you can. A ticket and half a sandwich, probably. I don't know.
And if you see Leicester here, sign your T-shirt.
That happened once, and that was like I got asked to sign someone's T-shirt, and I think
really,
yeah. You don't.
I shouldn't sound surprised, Leicester. I'm sorry.
I think that was who was that? I think that was Sarah Harris or Ibby Watley, but I think she was just taking.
You're going to laugh, but someone asked for a selfie with me at Snetterton because of this show. It did happen. I can't believe it either.
Go on.
I was at Snetterton and this person tapped me on the back and he says, "You're from that Motorsport radio show." And I went, "Yeah." He said, "Can I have a selfie?" I said, "Yes." All my friends were laughing at me for the rest of the day, to be fair.
Okay, right. Well, I mean, I was with Dan Marr at Brands Hatch and I got asked by someone to sign someone's shirt because apparently I worked in the media and was therefore famous. And I also got laughed at. And I was laughing my head off as well. Just because. But there you go. Anyway, moving on. Eurosport player, if you've got that subscription, or the Discovery Plus player, yada, yada, yada. It's on Eurosport. Just check it out. There'll be a mark. But it's going to be great. New sounds of BSB this weekend. Steve Day on commentary and also Duncan Vincent on BSB Radio. We will try and make the restream of BSB Radio work on Motorsport Radio and make it sound really amazing and great, in great high quality. We'll do our best. And so there you go. So if you're out driving or making your way home from the Honda British Talent Cup, which ends, I think, on the Sunday afternoon early, you can still tune in to Motorsport Radio live. Hey. There we go. Have we anything else to say about any other racing that's happened? Oh, Lewis, when are you next racing?
End of the month.
Okay.
Knockhill Scottish Championship starts this weekend at East Fortune, but we can't make it, so it'll just be end of the month for us. Okay,
all right. And you're doing a full season of that. What's the championship called again?
Scottish Championship and the KMSC Championship, which is Knockhill's own bike racing championship. All
right. Is that, I've been learning a lot about Scottish bike politics and Knockhill Motor Racing Club versus the SMRC stuff. Apparently they did some politics or something. While I was up north. Let's keep them apart. Basically, I'm sure you'll know more about it than I do. But yeah, good luck with that. What bike are you racing with?
We're on a 300 this year. We're on a 125 last season and the year before that. And with some tough races with the two-stroke reliability being amazing, as you would think. But this year we're feeling comfortable on the 300 already after doing some testing, so should be a good year. Okay, and what sort of names have you got on the grid? Do you know who's anyone that we might have heard of, apart from you, of course? I don't know. The entry list isn't out just yet. Troy Jeffrey may be coming back because I know he does have a 300 sitting there. He does some rounds on outside the BSB, but I think most rounds this year do clash with the BSB, which is a bit of a shame to get some of the Scottish riders back. But yeah, interesting. Well, yeah, we will keep up to date with how you do. Let us know, and yeah, especially if you do well.
How did we not do any of those BSB predictions and not mention Rory Skinner? Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Yeah, let's ask our senior Scottish racing correspondent now. He's just been promoted. Yeah, Lewis Rae, who's no relation to Jonathan Rae, allegedly. No, sadly not. Okay. Rory Skinner this year, I think it's going to be a great season for him. I think we're going to see more results like we've seen at Knockhill last season, now that he's got more time on that bike. Certainly, I think he will be in the showdown this year. I'm almost 100% certain on that. He's got a great bike behind him, great team, and I think this year could be top. Well, I think he's definitely top 3, I would say, without sounding too patriotic. Does sound very patriotic.
Yeah.
He is tips to be.
He's so talented.
Yeah. All right. Well, we do have to end the show there. I suppose we could talk for hours and hours, but I've got to be up early to drive to. I've got a quick.
It was Red Bull Rookies first test today, and Casey topped quite a few of the sessions in the wet, and I think he might have even topped a dry one. So big shout out to Casey, and also Eddie was within the top 10 as well. So big shout out to them two near the top.
Yeah, quite a lot of last year's and previous year's Honda British Talent Cup riders racing in this year's Red Bull Rookies Cup. So again, we will through the year, if Luke remembers to remind me, we'll mention it. So there you go. Jay, thank you for coming on and
thank you.
wolfing down your dinner last minute so you could make the show. Lewis, thank you again for turning up on Motorsport Radio. Much appreciated. And coming on the show. Right, let's go and enjoy some racing this weekend. Thank you very much.
Look forward to it.
And thank you, Luke, also. Have a good weekend. You'll also be at Silverstone.
I will be, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll meet up with a pint.
Yeah, I'll be there Friday till Sunday, so yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, check out and tune in. Enjoy BSB this weekend live from Silverstone on Eurosport.
The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
I'm Ryan Vickers. Hi, I'm Ben Curry.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rae from the Kawasaki Racing Team, and you're listening to Motorsport Radio.